An election campaign, or the middle of an election campaign, is a wonderful opportunity for us to all remind ourselves that it's the voters and taxpayers who rule things. The elected representatives are our nominees, our board of directors, if you will. And when there is an issue that there is expertise about in a big industry that's one of the most important for the province, then I think if we have some ideas about how that should be managed by our government with our assets, these are assets held in common, then this is a reason to reflect on how to do that. So that's why we went public with the idea, and the idea very simply is to turn an existing infrastructure asset worth many billions of dollars, which is the Ontario Northland Railroad, into the Ontario Northland Development Corporation, because ultimately we will need the railroad's capacity to be more than competitive in selling chrome and refined chrome and perhaps stainless steel to the global markets. And there you are. So we've drafted the legislation for them just to make it easy. We published that in the Globe and Mail on the center page of the Report on Business on Saturday, and we're going to keep track of which of the candidates of all of the parties are going to sign on to our idea of how this should work, and hopefully this legislation can be the first order of business after the election.
You're talking about, you have $1 billion to have road transportation route, but how much do you estimate the cost is of building the rail line as opposed to a road?
Well, we had a study done before the hearing before the Mining and Lands Commissioner back in February, and by an engineering firm, and they estimated the road would cost a little over $1 billion, and the railroad would cost a little less than $1.6 billion. But you know, the bill, we've suggested, we've staked a right-of-way, which is where an ideal place for a road or a railroad to be built on, in advance of the Far North Act coming into force. Otherwise, you know, that wouldn't have been possible, and we've been waiting for decades under the new regime to get anything done. So it was in advance to have the assets to study what the options should be. It may well be that production should begin, as Norant is suggesting, on an east-west road, and that would provide capacity to bring building materials into the Ring of Fire, so that's a good idea. It may well be that the chromite initially can be sent down south in the slurry pipe. But in the fullness of time, we think the Canadian chrome, combined with the fact that we have very low energy costs in Canada, gas in North America, and hydroelectricity in Quebec, ultimately the combination of those things should make the Canadian chrome business a world beater.
The province is talking about